everybody, welcome back to another product review. This time around I'm taking a look at the Silver Luna Prestige Integrated Tube Amplifier by Fezz Audio out of Poland. Now I am very excited to try this out because this will be my first time incorporating a tube amplifier with my vinyl setup. But first things first, full disclosure, Fezz Audio sent me this free of charge with the stipulation that it display it in the vinyl pad for 6 months, but keep in mind my opinions are my own. Now I'm going to start with an unboxing video and then go into what I liked and didn't like, so let's begin. Here we go. Gonna cut the packing tape here and here. And one across the top. Ooh, this is a heavy box, by the way. I was impressed. User's manual right on top. Big piece of foam. Oh my goodness, this is gonna require quite the setup because we have all the tubes by themselves right here. Okay, and they're nicely labeled, which is fantastic. Okay, we're gonna gently take these out, set them aside, and then we have this guy, which is, it's not labeled. We'll set that aside. And we got one more. So we'll take this top piece out, set it aside. Here's the unit itself. I guess there's one more sheet of foam to remove. This is very well packed. Comes in a nice bag too. And another moisture bag. Get rid of that. And, all right. Oh, power cord, very important. And this is the unit itself. Let's grab this. Okay, this thing is heavy. I'm gonna have to move this to the, oh my goodness. Let's move this to the ground. Okay. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting this to be so sturdy. Wow, that is impressive. All right, let's remove this bag so you guys can see the unit. All right. This thing is like super solid. Holy cow. I am so impressed with this. Okay, we have 3 inputs and left and right speaker outputs on the back here. Hey, this came with gloves too. You actually, that's probably really important because you don't want to get oil on your tubes. Sounds kind of funny to me, but no, it's important because the tubes will heat up and the oil, I think, can, what's the term? It will reduce the life of the tubes. So we'll start with number 1 here. Take this out, I'm gonna line up the notch. No, it is kind of a, there we go, tight fit, there we go. Here we go. Number 2 here. All right, so they take a little bit of force to get in there. Don't be too shy, but you also want to be gentle about it. You don't want to force it in. You have to really line up these pins, but it does require a small amount of force. So don't be afraid to to push them in there. All right, everybody, so it's all set up, ready to go. All I have to do is move this over to where my turntable is, hook up the audio cables, the speaker cables, and then I have a 10-hour burn-in period. That's right, you have to burn all these tubes in for about 10 hours straight with quiet music, low volume music. That way the tubes last much longer because you got to take care of these things. They will burn out. Think of them as light bulbs in that sense, to where a light bulb will go out. They're fragile and you want to take care of them, and so the burn-in period is necessary, but you guys don't have to wait. Join me on the other side of the camera right now. Now I want to preface this review by saying I don't have a lot of experience using high-end amplifiers such as the Fezz Audio, but also additionally I don't have a lot of knowledge of using tube amplifiers. Where I do have knowledge is from a guitar amp that I loved back in the day when I played a lot of guitar. I loved my tube amplifier because it had this luscious, warm, fuzzy sound that you could really have these unique distortions go on. Now that's not something we want out of our tube amplifier. We don't want it to distort, but we do want it to kind of color. And where my other piece of knowledge of tube amplifiers comes in was this beautiful mono console I had for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and it played 10-inch records, 7-inch, and 78s, and it had a little flipper needle arm. It wasn't the best turntable in the world, but my goodness, the 78 sounded amazing on that turntable, and it has everything to do with vacuum tubes. So that being said, vacuum tubes, whether good or bad, will color the sound in a way that solid state amplifiers don't, your basic receivers. Now this has 6 vacuum tubes, and it comes with 2 extra tubes that are different than these 2 smaller tubes. Those are your driver tubes. And so there's a toggle switch to switch between the 2 types of those driver tubes, as well as another toggle switch that changes the mode of it. Now, again, I don't really know how all this works. I really don't. I just know that when I switch it, I can hear minute changes depending on the type of music that I play. So I generally leave it in the up position, but you may find that you like it in the down position. This thing retails for $2,100, that's US dollars, and that seems like a lot of money. I know, until until you start looking at other vacuum tube amplifiers and you start to realize that is a fantastic deal, as most other competitors are double, triple, 6 times the cost of this unit. So when you put that into perspective, $2,100 for a vacuum tube amplifier that is quality made. This thing weighs about 35 pounds. It is heavy duty, and they did not skimp on this. It is a fantastic deal. The volume knob has a potentiometer in it that is just, you can get minute volume changes. It's not one of those like clicky things where you only have 10 options of volume. This thing has a spectrum of volume. And on top of all that, it's gorgeous to look at. It comes in 4 different colors: white, black, red, and this lovely burgundy, which I thought looks great. If you've never used a tube amplifier, they take a little bit of maintenance. And that being said, you need to warm this up. Even when you first turn it on, you're not going to hear anything. It takes a little, probably, 10, 20 seconds to get it before you can hear music. But even then, to really hear all the kind of the juiciness of these tubes, you have to give it maybe 30 minutes before they really open up on you. So that's not really a negative. It's just, if you didn't know that going into it, you might be turned off, but that's just what it is. Another thing to keep in mind is that these tubes are like light bulbs, and like an incandescent light bulb, they give off heat. So if you have small animals or any kind of pet for that matter, you're probably going to want to opt for the optional cage that goes over the tubes and helps protect not only your pets, but the tubes themselves, as they are fragile, just like a light bulb. You don't want to be tossing this thing around. Another thing to note is that this has no built-in preamp. So if you're looking to run your turntable through it, you're going to have either a turntable that has a built-in preamp or purchase a separate preamp. To me, that's not a negative, because when you start getting into the higher end of things, you want to have a choice in each component through the chain, basically from the record, stylus, turntable, preamp, amp, speaker cable, speakers. You want a choice in all of that. Unlike a Crossley, which is just all in one, right? We all know how that doesn't sound great. So as you start to upgrade your equipment, you start to come to realize that what might seem like a downgrade because they're not as fully featured actually is better in the long run, because yes, you're going to be spending more money, but in the long run, you're going to be happier because you have more choice over the signal path. And I think ultimately that's where you want to be headed. It's not just to upsell you more equipment. It's not about that. It's having control over the way you color your sound. This is a fantastic tube amplifier. I am by no means an audio expert, nor am I an audiophile, but what this amp is doing is teaching me to be a better listener. It's exposing me to this world of listening to music like I've never heard before, and I'm very excited to go down this path, try out the optional included tubes to see if I really hear a difference, kind of test myself with some of my favorite records like the Weezer Blue album. And it's just so exciting. I'm finally hearing what I've been missing. It's not all just like ethereal black magic, voodoo, technical mumbo jumbo. There is real differences. I can hear the differences, and I think that's exciting, and it's getting me jazzed up about explore more audio equipment, like, you know, possibly upgrading these speakers, maybe keeping them, maybe getting something different, maybe just reconing them. We'll see. I don't know yet, but yeah, this is very exciting. So with all that said, I give this my highest honor of 5 Pompadours out of 5. Well, everybody, thanks so much for checking out this review. Be sure to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Fezz Audio Silver Luna Prestige tube amplifier. Have you had experiences with tube amplifiers? Do you like them more or less than solid state amplifiers? I want to know. Until then, I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey everybody, thanks again for checking out my product review of the Fezz Audio Silver Luna Prestige tube amplifier. If you want to see more reviews, I put a playlist right there, as well as a video that YouTube will choose for me. If you like what you see, I put out new videos every Tuesday and sometimes Fridays.